I was sitting there one day thinking carbs, fat, and salt can cause you to have insulin resistance and store body fat. And store body fat, like, because I immediately thought of potato chips. I thought, oh my God, potato chips are fat storing food. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that is really true. How weird. So, what we're going to do something fun tonight. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to walk away knowing exactly how to tell if a food is a fat storing food or not. It's going to be fun. How many of you like to think about it? We're going to play a little game, but first I want to give you the secrets behind how it works, okay? So you can understand. So the fat storing rule is, and you've probably heard me say this before, but it's really worth repeating. Foods that are carbs and fat with no protein or fiber push your body into fat storage mode. Huh. Foods that are carbs and fats with no protein or fiber push your body into fat storage mode. Why? Well, carbs and sugar spike your blood sugar, so your insulin goes up, right? And we all know that. But if you add fat on top of that, now your body can't burn it. It just stores it. So with no protein or fiber to slow your digestion, that spike will hit your body even faster. And that's the pattern of donuts and chips and pastries and fried foods, stuff like ice cream and candy bars, right? They're designed to be the perfect storm for fat storage. Oh, it just hurt me when I read stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God. No wonder I had a problem. On the other hand, listen, when you eat protein and fiber, your body has like a buffer. Your blood sugar is going to stay balanced. Your insulin doesn't surge, and your body is more likely to burn fuel instead of storing fat. All right, so here's how this is going to work. I'm going to put two foods head to toe, and you're going to vote in the chat. Which one do you think is a worse fat storing food? All right, ladies, if we had a jelly donut or a Snickers bar, which one would be worse for fat storing? Which one? How many of you think a donut? Put up a 1, a Snickers bar, a 2. Which one do you think would be worse? Judy says a 1. How about you, Michelle? What you got? A 1 or a 2? Which one's worse for fat storing? It would be either a jelly donut or a Snickers bar. Which one? All right. Put it in the chat. What do you guys think? A jelly donut or a Snickers bar? Well, do you want to know which one it is? A donut. A donut. Judy, that was right. And here's why. The donut is pure sugar, white flour, and fat with no buffer. So it barely has any fiber. But a Snickers bar at least has peanuts. And so it has a tiny bit of protein and some fat to slow it down. So our winner there would be the Snickers bar. So if you've got the choice between a donut and a Snickers bar, go for the Snickers. All right. Oh, can you believe we're talking about this? So weird. All right. Potato chips versus ice cream. Which one is a fat storing food? Potato chips, number 1, or ice cream, number 2? Which one is worse? Ooh, that's a hard one. Judy says ice cream. What do you guys say? Number 1 or number 2? Number 1 is potato chips, or number 2 is ice cream. Which one is worse? Huh. Well, all right, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Put it in the chat if you want to know. So, just like the donut, ice cream spikes your blood sugar faster than the potato chips. But here's what I want you to hear. Oh God, this made me so upset. Seriously. Because I would have picked the potato chips over the ice cream. How many of you would have picked potato chips over ice cream? If you're going for a snack and you're like, okay, which one is worse? I would pick that the ice cream's worse, so I would choose potato chips. How many of you would do that? There's no sugar there. Yeah, me too. But here's what I want you to hear. This blew my mind. All right, because I am a potato chip lover. I am a connoisseur of Lay's potato chips. Listen to this. Chips are worse in the long run. Why? They don't spike your blood sugar as fast. So why is that? Well, the reason is that chips will give you insulin resistance. And the reason is because they're high fat, they're high salt, and they're high carb. And what that means, instead of like an ice cream will spike your blood sugar really quick, or a donut, and then it will crash. What a potato chip does is it causes your insulin level to raise, not as high as fast, but it stays there longer. It will stay right there for a long time. And because it keeps your insulin level up, spiked, not where a donut would take it, but spiked for longer, it will cause you to become insulin resistant. Oh my God. How many of you I was just crushed. I was like, seriously? I like potato chips. And I would think a handful here and there was not as bad, but it can be worse. Because ladies, when you're insulin resistant, your doctor will tell you, well, it's really hard to diagnose, but it causes a lot of problems. One is fat storage around your belly. And it's the kind of fat that just will not want to go away. It's the kind of fat that requires oh my gosh, consistent diet and just strategy and all of the stuff. It is tough. And then when you're insulin resistant, when you eat things like ice cream and stuff, it is worse. It is much worse. So potato chips are worse in the long run. Isn't that crazy? We're going to talk more about that in a minute, but that just blew my mind. So, all right, round 3. Which one is worse? French fries or pepperoni pizza? Which one, guys? French fries number 1, pepperoni pizza number 2. Huh. We're calling Tammy, since she's the new coach, on the carpet. Which one is worse, Tammy? French fries or pepperoni pizza? Oh, we can't hear you. Look, she muted herself. She's trying to cheat.
That's a hard one. French fries and pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. Which is worse?
I want to say French fries.
Well, you're right. And why would that be?
I'm just thinking because it's mostly grease, saturated fat, because I don't know, it's fried,
Yeah. So it's carbs and fat.
Yeah, carbs and
So,
fat, yeah.
yeah, if you throw a carbs and fat together without a buffer like protein or fiber, then it just becomes a fat storing food. So the potato, before it's deep fried, is fine, really. It can even have some fiber in it if you eat the skin, you know. But when you deep fry it, that's where the problem comes from. Then you've got a carb and a fat with no buffer, no fiber. But the pizza had protein in it, and the cheese has some protein in it. The pepperoni and the cheese both have some protein. So it is better than the French fries. And I would have normally not thought that. The only thing is that the pizza sneaks up on you because the calories can be so much higher, but it's going to hit your blood sugar in a different way. So, yeah, so actually, the French fries are worse than the pizza. Whoa. All right, here's another one. How about a bagel with cream cheese versus a sugary cereal? Like Cheerios with Honey Nut Cheerios. Which one? I would pick Honey Nut Cheerios every day of the week. What would you guys do? A bagel with cream cheese versus a sugary cereal. Number 2. All right, I see that. What do you guys think? 1 or 2? Bagel and cream cheese? No? All right. Cereal? Well, the bagel with cream cheese is still bad, which that was one of my old go-to breakfasts. Bagel and cream cheese. But I'd put salt on there. I wasn't going to leave it like that. So I'd add the salt. But listen, but the fat in the bagel and cream cheese slows down the carb a little bit, right? Still not great because it's basically carbs and fat again, right? But the cereal is worse because there's usually no fiber in the sugary cereals, or very, very little. And it's got the sugar, the fat, and the carbs. No protein and hardly any fiber, right? So that's tough. All right, here we go. A regular Coke versus wine. This one's hard. All right. How many wine drinkers we got? We got we got quite a few, right? Yes. So which is worse, a regular Coke or wine? Huh. Well, okay, Mona, I saw you waving your hand. What's she saying? One? A regular Coke? All right. You are correct. A regular Coke is worse than wine, but listen, wine still hits your liver, but it doesn't jack up your insulin like sugar does. Not quite as bad, even though it's sweet. So I would have picked the Coke over the wine. I would have. So I was wrong. I was wrong. All right. So here's one. Which is worse? Here's Gloria. She's coming on. She made it. All right. Which is worse? Let me pull it back up here. Cookie versus potato chips. That one is hard, isn't it? Oh, Judy says potato chips. Cookie versus potato chips. Which is worse? Cookies number one, potato chips number two. I would say, now that I talked bad about potato chips, I'm going to say number two. Potato chips are worse than cookies. I don't know. Michelle says two. We'll see. Let's see. All right. Cookies versus potato chips. Cookies are worse for an immediate spike of your insulin, right? So cookies are, but chips, listen. All right, hold on one second. Let me mute this. All right, but listen. Chips again. Oh my God, this really bothers me. Chips equals carb plus fat slow damage. Cookies equals sugar plus a fat rush. So the cookies are going to spike your blood sugar like this and drop out. And that potato chip is coming back to haunt you. It'll stay right here. It's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm going to spike it up just enough to make your insulin spike. And I'm just going to keep it right there. And I'm not going to drop out for a long time. And you're going to have more trouble with a potato chip. Oh my gosh, this like ruined all of my things that I thought was okay. I honestly did believe that a potato chip was so much better than some ice cream, right? But that proves that it's not. All right, here we go. Movie popcorn that's buttered versus cheesecake. Which one is worse? Movie popcorn with butter or cheesecake? Oh. Huh. Movie popcorn's number one. Which one do you vote? Or cheesecake is number two? Which one? All right, I see you. All right, Michelle's shaking her head. She's like, I don't know now. I'm so confused. I've been confused. I'm easily too confused. All right, ready? Cheesecake is worse. Why is cheesecake worse? Well, sugar and a fat bomb with no protein or fiber. So cheesecake is worse than popcorn with the butter on it. So, I guess I kind of would see that because of the sugar in it, right? Calories, number one, would be the reason why I would pick it. All right, margarita. Here we go, Mona. Margarita versus red wine. Which one? That one's not as hard. Margarita, margarita, yeah, margarita, yeah, margarita. It's definitely the margarita. So sugar plus alcohol is a double hit, and wine is less sugar, so it's a lower insulin effect. Huh. Isn't that crazy? I get that one. That one's pretty easy. But the potato chip one, I wanted to tell you ladies about. So if it doesn't have fiber or protein, which is your buffer for your blood sugar levels, which are so important because insulin is a hormone. And if we keep spiking our insulin all the time, guess what? It jacks up the other hormones works. Did you know it's like a domino effect? And our hormones are already like this. They're like, oh, how you doing today? I'm pretty good. They're up, they're down. They love you, they hate you. That's just like I've been in the past. Wade didn't know what he was going to get from me. He's like, oh my God. He goes, Allie, 1 minute you're great, and the next minute, bam. I'm like, it's not my fault. That would happen to be you. You just got on my nerves. I can't help it. You're annoying. But I'm like, yeah. So, when we jack up that insulin level, it's jacking up lots of things, not just our A1C, but it is a problem, ladies, with other hormonal functions. It's crazy. And it gives us stuff like insulin resistance. And the bad thing is about the potato chips and insulin resistance, I would have never, ever guessed that. So let's talk about that because I think that that is a really important thing. And this is why at BodBabes, we have started this 35 rule. And a 35 rule just means every time you eat, including your snack, you get 30 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber. And that's where we start. Now, your fiber is going to go up because if you ate 5 grams of fiber a day, that's only 20 grams of fiber. The minimum amount of fiber you should have as an adult female over the age of 50 is 21, and that's a bare minimum. That's the FDA bare minimum, and that is low. Usually it's 30 to 40. But you cannot come on at BodBabes eating 5 or less grams of fiber because most of us are. Isn't that crazy? Once we start tracking it, 5 or 10 grams of fiber, and we're like, oh, I didn't know I ate such little fiber. I eat carrots all the time. But yeah, our fiber is so low. And then if we jack that up to 20, boy, our bowels and stuff don't want to work. We jack it up to 30, we're in a mess. So don't be going in there and getting 30, 40 grams of fiber. We got to work our way up to that. Okay, so don't be doing that. If you hear that, Gloria, do not go eat 30 grams of fiber tomorrow. All right. All right. But I want to talk to you about this. So I want to talk a little bit more about the chips. So I don't understand it. So we're going to type this in Chat GPT. Why are the chips so bad? All right. And let's see what she says. All right. And I'm going to read what she says. This is the aha moment, she says, for you ladies. I'm like, yes, it is. It is for me. So the chips are made from refined carbs. So they're potatoes turned into starch because they're fried in oil. So now they're just basically pure fat. Huh. Chips are made from refined carbs, protein, potatoes turned into starch, fried in oil. Oh, fried in oil, which is pure fat. So the potatoes are turned into starch. They're no longer like a regular potato. And then they're fried in oil, which is pure fat. And that combo alone is a classic fat storage trigger. Huh. Causes insulin resistance. No protein, no fiber, just the two things your body stores the fastest when insulin is high. Isn't that crazy? So I hear a lot of ladies come on at BodBabes and they tell me things like, I'll say, hey, listen, your fats are too high. And they've been doing low carb and high fat. How many of us was that? That was me. That's some of y'all, low carb and high fat. And I didn't realize it was causing me problems after the age of 40. That's why I couldn't get my middle to come down. I was eating high fat. Well, I wanted to eat that healthy high fat. I've been told that, well, fat is healthy. I eat that healthy fat. Did you know this? All things are good in balance, but too much of a good thing is not a good thing. It's not too much healthy fat is a bad thing because here's why. Fat, when you eat fat, it is one of the fastest food groups, well, macros, to turn into body fat. So if you're eating too much fat, if you're eating over 70 grams of fat a day, guess what your body does with that? It stores it. It can't burn it all. It can't use it all. So when we go low carb, high fat, we also get extra calories probably. We don't understand. We're getting too many calories. So here's the thing. She says about the chips, listen to me. All fat is not created equal. There is healthy fat and then there's chip fat, right? Chips. Or there's avocados and there's butter, right? Butter is a healthy fat eaten in the right portions. Okay. So she says that no protein, no fiber, just the two things your body stores the fastest when insulin is high. No, the chips have no blood sugar buffer because there's no protein or fiber, so your blood sugar rises quickly, but not as fast as a donut, but still high. And what happens is your insulin kicks in and your body locks into fat storage mode. Then you have salt and the crunch, and you're overeating it. Our bodies, when I get chips, man, I can eat a lot of chips. How many of y'all can eat a lot of chips? I do. I told you ladies, I ate in the past a full-size family bag of Lay's chips in one day. Yeah, that's a whole lot of calories. So the salt makes you hold water, and the crunchy texture lights up your brain's reward system, and you just can't really stop with one handful. And that means you overeat those calories without even realizing it. And that makes your insulin surge even worse. And here's what she says on number 4 of this. She says, this is the sneaky long-term effect. Unlike donuts, which hit you hard and fast, chips keep insulin simmering for longer. And over time, this leads to insulin resistance. Your cells stop listening. Your body bumps out even more insulin. And that's when belly fat becomes really, really stubborn. So chips are sneaky. They don't spike you as hard as a donut, but they keep insulin hanging around for longer. And when insulin is hanging around, you're not burning fat, you're storing it. That really upsets me. Like, darn it. I told Wade today, I said, you've been getting on a kick of buying potato chips. Well, Cambria likes potato chips. I was like, I'm going in that kitchen and every 5 minutes, not every 5 minutes literally, but every day, I'm eating a handful of chips. I'm not kidding. I'm like, oh, just one little handful isn't going to hurt. Yeah, I'm going to have to get them out of my house. Stupid chips. Darn it. So it'd be better to eat a donut in the long term. But you know what? We just got to find our balance, right? But we do need to be informed. So that's all I had tonight, ladies. I love y'all. I thought that was fun. It opened my eyes. Did it open your eyes a little bit? All right. So what I would like to do is I'm going to save this video. I'm going to put it in our group. And I would love to hear about some topics that you would like to talk about. Or some questions that you have. And let's do some videos where we talk about those things. Like, should I eat before I work out? I got that one today. Questions about fasting. Should I fast? What questions do you have? I've always been told not to eat carbs, and now you're telling me to eat carbs. Why? Why am I eating more carbs? That's a question I get sometimes. In our group, when I put this video up, I want you to drop it below in our accountability group. And let's discuss some things that are important to you, questions that you might have. All right? Sound good?